Good evening, I'm Amanda Decker. We begin with a scary incident on a college campus no stranger to violence. Virginia Tech was put on lockdown after some teens attending a camp say they saw a man who appeared to have a gun on campus. Students were sent an alert about the possible gunman and then told to lock their doors. After some time had passed without finding a gunman, police downplayed things.
Please keep in mind the report was someone carrying a weapon, not that they pointed the weapon or threatened anyone, just that they were carrying a weapon. That was the report.
A gunman was never found during today's incident. But for those on campus, it was a case of better safe than sorry. Virginia Tech was the scene of one of the worst shooting rampages in U.S. history. On April 16, 2007, student Sungwoo Cho shot and killed 32 students and faculty and then took his own life. 25 others were hurt in that incident. Virginia Tech was criticized for not giving students enough warning during the rampage, and the school immediately changed procedures after that happened. From a rain-soaked tropical storm churning in the Gulf to extreme heat across the South, we have a lot of wicked weather to talk about today. We begin with the latest on Tropical Storm Emily. Take a look at this video out of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico did not take a direct hit from the storm, but Tropical Storm Emily still dumped plenty of rain on the area. Cars drove through the flooded roads, some barely making it at times. The storm downed power lines, damaged homes, and caused mudslides. And in Haiti today, Emily caused flooding and damage to hundreds of homes there as well. The storm was nearly stationary off the coast of Hispaniola, but forecasters expect it to head north-northwest throughout the day today. The storm is likely to cross eastern Cuba on Friday and might touch Florida by Saturday, though the storm's projected track would keep it offshore. Now to the oppressive heat dome that's baking 165 million Americans today. Triple-digit temps all across the South, and in Georgia, tragedy struck this week. Two young football players, Forrest Jones and DJ Searcy, both died from heat exposure. 16-year-old Jones collapsed just moments after practice.
He's such a great kid.
It's just not going to be the same without us.
In Dallas, Texas, they're on day 34 of triple-digit heat. At one exotic animal park north of Dallas, they have resorted to spraying down the parrots. Forecasters say daytime highs won't dip below the 100 mark in many parts of the South for at least another week. Now to the salmonella scare spreading all across the country. Cargill Meat Solutions Corporation is now voluntarily recalling about 36 million pounds of ground turkey. Look for P963 on the label if you have that in your home. At least one person has died, 79 others have gotten sick in 26 states all across the country.
They share the exact same strain of Salmonella, which is called Salmonella Heidelberg. There are many strains of Salmonella. This one is very dangerous because it is resistant to antibiotics.
Doctors say to cook your meat to at least 165 degrees and all the way through to kill the organism. Also wash your hands after handling any type of poultry. There's a new national debate brewing now. It's a stalemate in Congress over Federal Aviation Administration funding. The debate has shuttered parts of the agency since July 23rd. Thousands of airport jobs are currently on furlough. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid says this new crisis is getting worse every day because airline tax revenue is simply not coming in.
And the airlines, how about that? About $1 million a day they're taking money that belongs to the federal government.
It could add up to $1 billion loss by the month of September. At issue is employee unionization and rural airport funding. As Nana Okawa from our Reno affiliate KRXI reports, vital construction projects and jobs may come to a halt at the Reno Tahoe Airport.
Literally, this is how the Washington battle over the budget has come home to roost right here in northern Nevada.
In Reno, $9.3 million in projects and 350 construction jobs have a rocky future.
With this stalemate, this is just one of the projects at the Reno Tahoe International Airport that's in jeopardy.
The one behind us could be threatened with closure if we can't get money flowing from the FAA. We have other projects, from a taxiway extension to more ramp projects to a new building we're going to build for snow removal equipment, and even other projects that are now threatened without the funding behind it. So this is really a tough blow, not only for our airport, but for our community.
If funding stops, the airport could be left with a gaping hole in the middle of the ramp, and there may be more problems on the horizon if the crisis doesn't end soon.
We're reassessing other bigger projects that we were taking a look at, like a centralized security checkpoint, which would be new security checkpoints here at Reno Tahoe International. a baggage claim project that we have on the books that we're looking forward to.
Officials say the airport is the lifeblood of Reno, and any lost confidence in safety or security here could be a long-term economic problem for all of us. Nana Okawa reporting for INN News.
We may have to wait another day to find out if Casey Anthony will surface. A judge is going to hold an emergency hearing tomorrow to decide if she must serve her one-year probation in Florida for a check fraud conviction. She was supposed to appear in court earlier this morning. Anthony's attorneys say her return to the state would put their client in, quote, great peril. Time for global news now. Hungry, thirsty, and dying, Somalis are walking thousands of miles to get food in relief camps. The country is struggling with severe drought and famine conditions, and now the United Nations declared a famine in 3 more regions of Somalia. Relief efforts have been hindered by the ongoing battle between Islamist rebels and Somalia's transitional government. Meanwhile, the UN is asking the Syrian government to end the violence in that country. It condemns the crackdown on protesters looking for a change in government. And Secretary General Ban Ki-moon says the situation is brutally shocking. The death toll in the country has crossed 2,000 people since the uprising began in March. Japan will fire 3 top nuclear officials because of their handling of the Fukushima Daiichi crisis. Public confidence in the country's nuclear policy was eroded following the disaster. The Fukushima plant was flooded by the tsunami triggered by the March 11th earthquake. It was the worst nuclear accident since the 1986 Chernobyl disaster. Meanwhile, a festival featuring clusters of lanterns on high bamboo poles has begun in northern Japan. The summer festival is held to pray for a rich harvest and is said to date back more than 200 years. The bamboo and the lanterns represent the ears of rice plants. The festival runs through Saturday. And that's your global news now. Officials say heavy rain might have caused a crash involving an Alachua County police sergeant. Take a look at this newly released dashboard video from near Gainesville, Florida. You can see a driver slamming into the sergeant's patrol car. The impact was so intense it sent the car spinning, missing the officer by just a few feet. Denise Toussaint from our Gainesville, Florida affiliate GTN has this story.
10 feet away from death.
The rear wheel, if you look at it, it should be facing this way. It's twisted, cockeyed over to the side. He was lucky he wasn't in the car.
This is what's left of a sergeant's patrol car after being rear-ended by another vehicle.
He was off the side of the roadway interacting with that person in that single vehicle crash, and he was returning to his vehicle. When he was about 10 feet away from that vehicle, another single vehicle lost control and collided with the rear end of Sergeant Ulrich's vehicle.
The car completely totaled. In this dashboard video, a driver is seen ramming into the patrol car, making it spin and missing the sergeant by just a few feet, also causing well over $20,000 in damage.
He was so close to the vehicle at the time it impacted, and he's very lucky that the vehicle didn't spin around and impact him as well.
Fleet staff are gathering what's left.
This is some of the ammunition that was in the trunk.
And scraping off any sheriff's office decals before the car is taken to the junkyard.
About 80% of the items in the patrol vehicle were destroyed, including this fingerprinting box, but luckily Sergeant Ulrich came out without a scratch.
A lot of the items that were still in the vehicle were so heavily damaged from the impact that he'll have to be issued new gear. We're very thankful that he was not inside at the time, otherwise we could have easily lost him.
The driver and passenger of the other car were not seriously hurt, but officials say there's a lesson to be learned here. Move over when you see a stopped patrol car. Denise Toussaint reporting for INN News.
Troopers say yesterday's rain may have been to blame for that accident. Some sad news out of the world of football today. Charles Aaron Bubba Smith died yesterday. Bubba Smith was the #1 overall draft pick in the 1967 NFL draft. He played for the Baltimore Colts, the Raiders, and the Oilers. He later found fame as an actor, playing Moses Hightower in the Police Academy films. Officials say Smith died of natural causes. He was 66. President Barack Obama hits a milestone today. He turned 50.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Jennifer Hudson sang happy birthday to the president in Chicago at a birthday-themed fundraiser last night. The president also joked that today he will have letters from the AARP telling him to call President Obama to ask him to protect Medicare. Toilet paper, cat food, New Kids on the Block concert tickets. Yep, you can now get just about anything at Walmart. Who the retail giant is teaming up with now coming up. And his stage is a construction site, and he's drawing more and more fans every day. We'll meet the 2nd Avenue Sinatra coming up later on INN.